In the blink of an eye, cities that had thrived for generations were torn apart. Structures that had flourished were now disintegrated, leaving behind only fragments of memories. And as the shockwave raced through the planet, the very ground that had housed them was torn asunder. It was as if the universe itself had decided to erase all evidence of their existence. In less time than a heartbeat, the culmination of 6 million years of evolution, advancement, and progress was consumed and destroyed by the universe that had birthed it. The Voltrem existed. Then, they didn't. Welcome to Lanar Hassano, an original work of science fiction created by me, Blake DeWeese. I began building this world in 2016. Over the years, it's morphed and changed and grown exponentially. In today's video, we'll continue our series detailing the anatomy and physiology of the alien species of this universe. And this one will be a little different. If you like what you see here, consider subscribing to the channel to learn more. The Voltrem are the oldest race known to us, maybe even older than the Wim. Voltrem evolution began as far back as 6 million years ago. After millions of years, they evolved, developed, and created a civilization for themselves. A devastating discovery, though, changed their course forever. Their star, known simply as SN 185, was due to go supernova. We won't cover the totality of Voltrem history in this video, but it's important to understand when discussing them. The Voltrem spent centuries developing a digital arc to be used to preserve their people. They created copies of their personalities, thought patterns, memories, and practices, put them onto this ship, and launched it into deep space, preserving what they could of their society. The heart of Voltrem society is this, the Folklium. This megastructure is a massive computer that houses all the consciousness of the Voltrem species. The Folklium was constructed over the course of several hundred years, as one of the many initiatives the Voltrem enacted to preserve their people. Originally intended to house digital copies of their entire population, the Voltrem only managed to save a few million. For 100,000 years, the Folklium drifted aimlessly through space, until the Alliance found and reactivated it, breathing new, though drastically different, life into the Voltrem people. The structure is powered by a vast array of solar panels and a Dyson Swarm-like fleet of satellites. Inside are hundreds of nodes, housing the memory storage, processing input, sensory data, and digital environments for the Voltrem people. Mechanically, the Folklium utilizes quantum computers to process the vast amounts of data quickly and efficiently. Neural network algorithms can more realistically simulate brain function, helping preserve the personalities of the individual Voltrem. The Voltrem interact with the world primarily through the Synnex, essentially space internet. Here, they can use avatars to give them a heightened sense of identity, helping the disparate species of the galaxy interact with them. They have experimented with android-like conduits in the past, but this practice has been stigmatized among Voltrem society. Some still choose this route, but the Voltrem most commonly exist in digital spaces, which should be noted is a significant part of this society. This does, however, pose a threat to the integrity of the Folklium. Like white blood cells, AI-driven intrusion detection systems continuously monitor for signs of unauthorized access or anonymous behavior within the network. These systems utilize machine learning to adapt to new threats over time, ensuring that even novel attack vectors are quickly identified and mitigated. Combined with dynamic firewalls and advanced encryption formats, the Folklium is considered impregnable, though that hasn't stopped some from trying. Within the Folklium is a central repository for universal constants and fundamental truths, essentially common sense, things that are true for all individuals. When creating the Folklium, it was determined that dedicating memory for these truths across all Voltrem would take up valuable space and time for the engineers. So instead, they created a central node that each of the neural networks can branch off of. This repository implies advanced data structuring and compression algorithms to maximize storage efficiency and speed of access. Information is indexed and categorized in a hierarchical manner, allowing for quick lookup and integration into the neural network's processing streams. To Techniques such as deduplication are used to eliminate redundant data storage, while lossless compression minimizes the space required for storing this extensive knowledge base. Voltrem can temporarily integrate this data into their own processing pathways. This integration allows them to apply universal knowledge to individual experiences and decision-making processes seamlessly. Their neural networks employ sophisticated algorithms to contextualize this shared information, adapting it to the individual's current cognitive or experiential framework. This architecture is inherently scalable. As new universal truths are discovered or established, they can be added to the repository without impacting the individual neural networks directly. This design allows for the continuous evolution of the Voltrem's collective knowledge base without requiring significant reconfiguration of personal neural networks. Advanced load balancing techniques ensure that the Volclium can handle simultaneous queries from countless Voltrem without bottlenecking. Resource allocation algorithms dynamically adjust the computational resources dedicated to the memory basin based on demand, ensuring efficient operation even during peak usage periods. If that doesn't make sense to you, don't worry. Think of it this way. You know that 2 + 2 = 4. I know that 2 + 2 = 4. Programming this multiple times would create huge amounts of data redundancy. So to allow for more efficient uploads of the individual traits, memories, and personalities, the engineers decided to create a central bank of things that we all know to be true. Stuff like mathematics, laws of physics, colors. The design of the Volclium relies on a quantum substrate, a dense network of qubits that perform computational tasks through quantum states of superposition and entanglement. Unlike classical bits, which are either 0 or 1, qubits can exist in multiple states simultaneously, vastly increasing the system's processing power and efficiency. Each computation on the substrate alters its state, leaving behind residuals as data is processed. As other Voltrem's neural networks engage with the substrate, they can sometimes engage the residuals, causing the data to bleed through. In practical terms, this means the Voltrem have inadvertent access to each other's memories and experiences. Now, it's not the purpose of this video to provide a detailed breakdown of the interstellar political hierarchy, but it is critically important to the Voltrem in a certain regard, so stay with me on this. The single largest and most powerful nation in the galaxy is Syndicate Space. Syndicate Space is governed by an institution called the Alliance. The Alliance is an enormous political body, composed of thousands of people across dozens of departments and disciplines. At the very top is the Supreme High Council, a panel of 4 individuals who preside over all decisions and actions within the Alliance. In essence, these 4 are among the most powerful figures in the galaxy, with access to all sorts of restricted information and state secrets. And one of these people is High Counselor Drakran Mayet, the Voltrem. The Alliance has created extensive security measures to isolate the High Counselor's neural network and prevent the leaking of information. But whether you want to call it pragmatism or paranoia, they still view the nature of the Voltrem as a deep threat to Syndicate security. As such, tracking measures are put in place to keep tabs on Voltrem communications and actions. This totalitarian state of supervision has been heavily protested over the centuries, and several projects have been proposed to redesign the architecture of the Volclium so that it would remove the bleeding of memories. Interestingly, the Voltrem have rejected all these attempts. They believe the interconnectedness of their persons is a key aspect of their culture, and the presence of one of their own on the Supreme High Council lends them an advantage in advocating for themselves. Ultimately, it's not for us to decide the best path for the Voltrem. Because they are digital beings, the Voltrem are essentially immortal, yet unable to reproduce. While the Volclium managed to preserve millions of lives, they still represent only a fraction of their once advanced species. Part of the Volclium initiative included cryogenically frozen embryos that were meant to be incubated to help repopulate the people. But even under the care of the AI algorithms, the 100,000 years spent drifting in space was simply too long. The embryos deteriorated too much to be revived. We'll examine Voltrem culture in a later video, but mortality plays a critical role in their society. These are people who must live with the knowledge that their entire species, including themselves, have died, yet they exist in an immortal state, unable to reproduce or grow their society, cursed to exist forever as remnants of a people now long past, never to experience the release of eternal rest. It's a responsibility the Voltrem have come to revere, though. They are a people of renowned philosophy and wisdom. The Voltrem can draw on centuries of experience to aid. The Voltrem are a people of profound loss and tragic misunderstanding. Despite the odds, though, they are among the most powerful people in the galaxy. Their numbers are small, but their impact large. They have found strength and resolve in their unity and have helped shepherd society through the centuries. There's a lot more to talk about with regards to their culture and heritage, and especially their history. There's also several other species we've yet to talk about. So subscribe to Lanar Hassano to learn more. Also be sure to check out our other communities, linked in the description. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.